This week's question is about how someone can find the right career for them using astrology. This is the thing about astrology and your chart. We can answer any question that you have about any single area of your life using your chart. And this is how you do it. You look at the area of your chart that is concerned with that area of your life. Every area of your life falls into a different house in your chart. So if you want to look at career, I want to look at your 10th house and I want to look at your midheaven. I want to understand, is there any planets around your midheaven? Are there any planets in your 10th house? What sign is your midheaven in? That's like the, highest point in the sky. In traditional astrology or in whole sign houses, it can be in a lot of different places. If you're using Placidus as a house system, it will be your 10th house cusp. Both are good, both are helpful, but I want to know what is happening with your midheaven. What sign is it in? Are there any planets that are connected to it? Then I want to know your 10th house. Are there any planets in there? If not, then I want to look at the sign that your 10th house is occupied by, is in your 10th house. If you don't have any planets in your 10th house or by your midheaven, I want to look at the planet or planets that rule these two places or parts of your chart. So a lot of you will also have your midheaven in your 10th house, and it'll be the same thing. So that makes it easier. So say your 10th house is Scorpio, and there's no planets in your 10th house. We want to look at how does Scorpio as a sign impact the way you would do a career? It might be about doing something that is a little bit secret. It might be about doing something that is about power. It might be about doing something that seems a little bit like more occult or about the mysteries in life. Those might be some things just off the top of my head. Something intense, something emotionally cathartic, composting, all of those things. But I want to see where your Mars is. Your Mars rules your 10th house if it's Scorpio. Say your 10th house is Pisces, then I want to look at your Jupiter. Your Jupiter rules your 10th house if your 10th house is Pisces or Sag, and so on and so forth. So then you want to see where that planet is, because that planet pulls the 10th house with it into the place that it's in. For example, say your Mars, say you have a 10th house at Scorpio, and your Mars is sitting in your 3rd house. That means it pulls the career into 3rd house arenas of life. So the 3rd house can be writing, it can be siblings, it can be daily life and local life and neighborhoods. So what might that look like? Well, it's Mars. I also want to look at the quality of the planet. Mars is a fighter. Mars is a strategist. Mars is a piercer. Mars is a swordsmith. Mars works with iron, right? It's the metal. It works with heat. So if you told me that you owned a piercing shop with your sibling, I'd be like, yes, Mars ruled 10th house in the 3rd house of siblings. Mars is the piercer, or a tattoo artist or an acupuncturist. Obviously that I'm just rattling off things, but you're starting to look at how all of these different components might work together and facilitate something together, facilitate an answer for you. I've said this in other places, but the ruler of my 10th house is, so if I want to look at career significations, the ruler of my 10th house is in my 11th house. So I have to do something that is connected to community. There are also planets in my 10th house. So I also can go off of those, and those planets are about teaching and they're about healing and they're, about all the other stuff that you might associate with some of the work that I do. And they're about wisdom traditions and all of that, philosophy. But the ruler of my 10th house, if I want more information, is in my 11th house. So I have to do something that is within for community. It's really important to me. So the work that the company, the CHANI app, does in association with my wife's nonprofit, freefrom.org, is very, very essential to me because there's a component of my work that has to give back to community. We do a lot of mutual aid initiatives through our company, and the money goes to survivors of gender-based violence through the organization freefrom.org. You can check it out there. You can check it out on CHANI.com. But that kind of community work and mutual aid work is really essential for me for my career. It's not what I do in and of itself. Like, I'm known as being an astrologer, but that's another component. I have to be working in a way that's helping community or facilitating community or responding to being part of communal needs. Like, that is essential for me. And Mars rules my 10th house. So I'm a little bit of a fighter, you know? I'm a little bit of a like, well, I'll say the thing that people are going to get mad at me about. I also say things that people really like. So it's not just that, but you know, it's not a part of my situation. I tend to, take on kind of dicey, what other people might think of as dicey topics or situations in public because I have to. My 10th house is ruled by Mars. Like, I've got to be in the fight in some way, shape, or form. And then there's all this other stuff in my chart that's about healing and, doing all the other things that are like nice and lovely and soothing to people. But you're going to meet my Mars if you meet me in public in some way, shape, or form. If you meet my work, you're going to feel some of the Mars. That's the edge that I've got to work with. Anyways, that's just me. We can talk about a million different examples, but what is the planet that rules your 10th house? I would start there. And then if you have planets in your 10th house, like, what are those planets? Is your sun in the 10th house? Well, that means you're kind of got to be a celebrity. Like, you got to shine out in the world. Is your Venus in the 10th house? Well, that means that you've got to bring through some kind of beauty. You've got to bring some kind of justice. You've got to bring through some art. You've got to bring through some creativity. Maybe you're in style. Maybe you're in fashion. Maybe you need to be known for those things. What sign is it in? Is it Gemini? Do you need to be writing? Do you need to be speaking? Do you need to be thinking? So you just start to put all these components together. If you have the CHANI app, which I hope you do, I want you to go and read about any planets you have in the 10th house, just to start. I also want you to go and read the description of your midheaven, just to start. See if you have any planets near the midheaven or in connection with the midheaven to start. And then I want you to think about, well, what sign is my 10th house? What sign is my midheaven? And then go read about the planets that rule those signs. Leo is ruled by the sun. Cancer is ruled by the moon. Mercury is the ruler of Virgo and of Gemini. I know I flipped that. Libra and Taurus are ruled by Venus. Sag and Pisces are ruled by Jupiter. And then Capricorn and Aquarius are ruled by Saturn. So then you just want to go and then read about those planets in your chart. And those planets have been written in the CHANI app in a way that's going to talk about your career. So once you locate what planet rules your 10th house and also rules your midheaven, notice that they've been written in a way that most likely would be like, oh, in the world, in your public life, in your work life, in your career life, you do A, B, C.